We place the focus on the textiles industry as Association of Ghana Apparel urges government to, as a matter of urgency, invest in the local apparel industry to save it from collapse. Also, Moroccan ambassador to Ghana laments the poor intra-African trade between Ghana and North African countries. We'll hear her side of the argument. Plus, maize retailers in some parts of the Ashanti region express worry about the continuous rise in the price of the staple. We have all these stories and more coming up in this edition of The Marketplace with me, Charles Isaac. Stay tuned after this break. You're welcome back to The Marketplace. The month of March has been dedicated to telling the Ghanaian story, businesses and of course content that holds dear to the Ghanaian culture. And for this month, you shall be seeing me doing more of my African print as I am this afternoon. But speaking of the Ghanaian manufacturing industry, local apparel manufacturers who are into the production of masks say their businesses have taken a nosedive following the influx of imported masks. According to them, they've lost out big time during this pandemic of COVID-19. And as part of the Ghana Month, Joy Business engaged the president of the association, George Kando. He said the government must, as a matter of urgency, intervene to save the apparel industry from a possible collapse. Here's more.
Almost a year since Ghana recorded its first case of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, the use of nose masks became a necessary tool to fight this particular pandemic. Due to the scarce nose masks and the closure of borders around the world, local manufacturers were called into action to produce local masks. But a year on, we are here at the Nalam Clothing to find out how the production of nose masks has gone. And local manufacturers were called into action to actually produce local nose masks. How has the business been like?
Yeah, it's a mix of everything. I just can imagine if we weren't in the manufacturing side of the apparel value chain, what we have been doing. So on one side, we've been lucky to get work from government, but on the other side, it is not enough to keep our machines going all year round. So just as much as we are thankful to government for the opportunity to keep us busy, you still can see a lot of machines are still empty. So what it means is we would need more work. Okay, having said so, as of now, the most work we do is when we produce PPEs for government. Aside that, generally the clothing consumption of Ghanaians, so to say, has gone down. I can't remember the last time you bought yourself an outfit, you know. So typically, the weddings are gone, the outdoorings are gone, the funerals. So all this go with very limited numbers, and people are not motivated to make new clothes. So it's a big hit on the industry. Now, when you zero it down to the nose masks and the PPEs in particular, you notice we are facing very, very stiff competition from the imported ones.
Exactly where I was coming to. I mean, comparing the local masks to the locally produced ones, people actually sort of go in for the imported ones. What advantage do you think, the imported one has over the local ones?
For me, I'll just say price. As people are looking at the price, it's readily available at the stretch of a hand. You can buy it from traffic and everywhere, which again, you can't guarantee your safety. Having said so, the locally manufactured mask, one, is FDA approved, standard boards approved, complies to Ghana Health standards, World Health standards. We use cloth that makes it reusable. Ghana has showed resilience. Ghana has to keep industry and the jobs running. We have to consume our own. COVID-19 came with the advantage of proving to Ghanaians, Africans, and the world that we are capable of taking care of ourselves.
So you heard the president of the Association of Ghana Apparel Manufacturers calling on our government to invest in local production to sustain the production of local marks. Nicholas Brown for Joy Business.
And that was Nicola Brown's report today. A little bit on the local apparel industry. When COVID-19 struck in the country, we saw massive demand for locally produced face masks. But of course, this has plummeted significantly since the emergence of the foreign disposable masks. Of course, we shall be following this story closely, especially when they're losing out from the market, even though COVID-19 is still a matter of current concern. But away from that, the Moroccan ambassador to Ghana, Imami Ouadil, has been sharing with me how the consumption and exports of locally manufactured goods can expand Ghana's and Africa's economic potential. Here's an exclusive she granted Joy Business.
Since I arrived actually in July 2019, my first concern was to discover that we don't do much between our two countries in terms of economic cooperation and trade. So I have first started to inquire about what can we do to just strengthen our trade relations.
But even as you inquired about that, did you get to understand the reasons why trade ties are not that deepened?
Well, actually, it's just, I think, a lack of adventurous spirit from our people in Morocco and from the Ghanaian business community. Because actually, in fact, we have a lot in common. We have a lot of complementarities, and we have a lot of relations to build on. Our political relations are very rich, have been running since the Casablanca conference,
Exactly.
1961, with the late Kwame Nkrumah and our late King Mohammed VI and Mohammed V, sorry. And we have been doing some kind of, I'm not saying that there is no business ties, but I think that there is not enough business ties. And that's my mission here, is to increase this kind of knowledge between Morocco and Ghana, and kind of partnership and cooperation. There are a lot of, not a lot of, but there are many companies, Moroccan companies, that are settled in Ghana, such as CIMAF, the cemetery plant in Tema, which has been here since 2016, and they are doing well. They are even contemplating the creation of a new plant in Ghana, a second one. And since I arrived, and even during the COVID-19 pandemic, many companies, many private and also public entities have shown interest in investing in Ghana. The last one is a big construction company in Morocco dealing with affordable housing.
Okay.
That has taken a keen interest in investing in Ghana, and they are in very much advanced stages in coming to Ghana very soon.
But how much are we looking at in terms of the investment capital?
I can't tell you the numbers because, you know, a lot of these companies are private ones.
That's great. When you presented your credentials to President Akufo-Addo, that was somewhere that was in 2019, I believe.
It was in September 2019.
In September 2019. Yes. You granted the media an interview. And in that interview, I want to quote sections of that which has a relation to your focus as ambassador. Yeah. You said that countries should also focus, Ghana, Morocco should focus on exchanges between two societies, especially at the human and intellectual level, yes, and strengthen academic and scientific cooperation. How has this been ever since you took office?
Yes, actually the cultural exchange and educational one has been going on since 2001 with the reopening of our embassies here in Accra and in Morocco in the time of the ex-president Kufuor. At that time, we were granting 35 scholarships for Ghanaian students a year. But since His Majesty King Mohammed VI visited Ghana in 2017, This number has been doubled. Now we are offering 70 scholarships a year. And in 2019, we have added 20 more for dedicated to vocational training. Even with the pandemic, this scholarship offer have been maintained.
Okay.
The only difference is that because of problems of, border closures and everything, we have, the Moroccan authorities have decided that since the Ghanaian students are going to, anyway, even they reach into Morocco, they have to go through 1 year French language because to be able to follow their studies correctly.
Let's talk about the Continental Free Trade Agreement area, because we do know that this in its own self is somewhat of the dream of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, of which Morocco partnered closely way back in 1961. Of course, we do know in excess of $3.4 trillion is at stake now. But how is Morocco really tapping into this market so far? If you could help us with some figures, some numbers on the trade patterns and thereafter, ever since it took off on the 1st of January?
Well, Morocco has signed the agreement. It was one of the first countries to sign the agreements in 2018 in Kigali. And we are very keen on making this African dream a reality. We are, as I said, Moroccan companies are present in 40 countries in Africa now. Morocco is the first African investor in West Africa. And this is the second...
The first African investor in West Africa?
In West Africa, yes, according to the African Bank of Development. And we are also the second African investor in the continent as a whole, after South Africa. So that shows that Morocco is very much engaged into this South-South cooperation and finding African solution to African problems.
How concerned are you about the fact that intra-African trade is less than 5%, even though we're coming up with the Continental Free Trade and Morocco is at its forefront of helping other African states?
Well, actually, the border problem is indeed a very huge problem for us. There are today some borders that are closed among African countries. I can speak here about the border between Morocco and Algeria, for example, which has been closed for years now. I'm sure that this highly impedes the concretization of this dream, but it's going very well. I think there is no problem on that side.
I want you to help us understand the culture of Morocco, because oftentimes we hear from students, we hear from investors, the fact that Morocco is somewhat a conservative society at that. The things you could be doing in Ghana, you cannot do in Morocco. And the kind of legal frameworks there are often not the same here in Ghana, definitely. Okay. But help us understand, how much embracing is the Moroccan environment, society? How mosaic is it for investment and students?
Well, I don't know of anything that you can do in Ghana and you cannot do in Morocco. No, we are a Muslim country, indeed. We are 95% Muslims. But we have, actually, Moroccan people are a mosaic of people already. There are Berbers, the original people that populated Morocco before the Phoenicians and before everybody else. The Moroccan Jews, which were here, and some of them are still living in Morocco as a community. We have the foreigners, who the French colonizers and the Spanish, who have built their churches, and some of them are still living in Morocco. So in Morocco you have churches, synagogues, and mosques alike. Okay. Of course, more mosques because of the majority of the people, but all of these places of worship are very much protected and very much accessible to everybody. The student community in Morocco, which are now 28,000 African students, they are studying freely. They have no problems, or they have the same problems as their Moroccan counterparts. The Moroccan, the foreigners, the African students living studying in Morocco receive more per diem than the Moroccan people who are on scholarships for the year. And the Moroccan tertiary education is free, unless you want to go to a private institution. That is, you have to pay.
On the World Tourism Ranking, we do know that Morocco is one of the top countries across Africa and even the world when it comes to tourism. And of course, here in Ghana, yes, we have the potential, but there are stark challenges involved. If you're looking at the value chain of tourism in the country, what do you think that, if done properly, Ghana could also be among the tops when it comes to tourism?
Marketing?
Marketing.
Well, I am doing some marketing for the Ghana tourism.
Okay.
Because I am.
So
whenever
we don't market our stuff well.
Not you don't market yourself well, but you don't market yourself enough.
Okay.
Because, for example, for the Moroccan tourists, Moroccan tour operators don't know about the destination Ghana.
Oh.
It's not well advertised.
Oh.
And we have in Morocco, like in Ghana, the same upper class people who have the means, because I have to say that the hotels in Ghana are quite expensive. But as I said, we have this kind of people who are ready to buy a ticket and to go to high-end resorts. In Seychelles, they go to Seychelles, they go to Mauritius, and they go so far as, I don't know, New Zealand and things, in order to have that exotic feeling. You know that in Morocco there is no coconut trees, and you cannot bathe in the sea in December, like in Ghana. But these people don't know that they can fly with Royal Air Maroc, a direct flight to Accra in 4 hours, and have all this available. And they have to travel. I mean that there is not, this is what I call the people-to-people knowledge. This is what I want to achieve. Women empowerment is something that is so natural that I don't think it as I think of it as a program, because it's just the natural thing to do. Okay. Especially in our African countries, and Morocco is also a Muslim African country, that the rights of women has always been at the one of the subjects to deal with. I have very good relations with some of the Ghanaian ladies that are chairing foundations and NGOs for defending women's rights. We have had a good cooperation. My predecessor has had a very good cooperation with the foundation of the second lady, Madame Samira Baumia. She even visited Morocco on that during his term, to enhance cooperation with Moroccan NGOs and foundations there. So I think we will have to pursue this, but with not a specific item on the agenda, but as the natural thing to do and the right thing to do.
Ambassador, we're grateful that you joined us. Thank you very much once again. Thank you. And that's an exclusive with the Moroccan ambassador to Ghana there, sharing with us everything we need to do from tourism to trade and commerce. Moving on, retailers of maize at the Kumasi Central Market are concerned about the continued rise in the price of maize. The traders attribute the price increase to the lean season experienced last year. Food processors are also worried about the hike in prices. Anita Servers reports now from Kumasi.
Maize production is the most important cereal crop cultivated across the country. The increase in the price of maize continues to be a worry for traders selling the commodity. At the Kumasi Central Market, a bag of maize shot up from 180 Ghana cedis to 250 Ghana cedis in 2020. In the past 2 months, the price has increased to 320 Ghana cedis. According to traders, the lean season contributed to the high prices.
I used to sell a bag of maize at 180 cedis, but due to the lean season, the price of maize keeps increasing.
Ayem say ewiade no enye yi ewiade bebre say kitwe bi na yi onu na mana price no cost no sa. After the
Easter celebrations, maize prices are going to increase.
The
price of maize keeps increasing. I used to sell the small blue paint rubber at 10 Ghana cedis, but I now sell it at 15 Ghana cedis just to make profits.
A brown yedika tono to 1.5. A unity no yet on 1.5.
I was buying a bag of maize at 150 cedis. I was expecting a drop in prices, but it shot up to 300 cedis. The yellow corn is now sold at 350 cedis.
It is a 3 million a ton. Yellow corn also a ton 3.5. Into the Aniamana and Nanitian, so the 1 cedi no ya that 50 pesos and one white no near channel to 8 cities, say a channel 12 cities.
I was selling the condo at 8 cedis, but it's now 12 cedis.
Obaya, a kenke seller at Aja, says she had to increase the price of a ball of kenke to stay in business.
I buy the maize at a price of 220 cedis, but it's now sold at 320 cedis. After checking the price of maize, we now sell a ball of kenke at 1 cedis, 50 pesos, and 2 cedis.
The minister designates for food and agriculture, Owusu Efiye Akoto, attributed the increase in prices to inflation. Anita Sewa Ajoga reporting.
Now, listed banks on the Ghana Stock Exchange have been granted a month's extension to file their 2020 audited financial statements. They therefore have up till the 30th of April this year to do so. Here's more.
A statement from the Ghana Stock Exchange, however, said the banks that are able to conclude their audit in time, in spite of the negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, are encouraged to publish within the existing statutory timelines. The banks listed on the Accra Bourse through the Ghana Association of Bankers requested that the deadline for filing of 2020 audited financial statements be extended by 1 month, that's to April 30. This will enable them to work effectively with their external auditors to achieve the audit objectives. The association indicated that the advent of COVID-19 has resulted in significant impact on human resource allocation in most banks. This was exacerbated by the recent spike in infection rate in the country. The statement further said results from initial assessment in the banking industry pointed to signals that some banks are unable to keep sufficient staff members at post to assist with the audit of the 2020 financial statement. The situation resulted in significant delays in some instances. This convinced the GSE to give some reprieve to the listed banks in publishing their 2020 financial statements.